2005 was a chaotic year in the Cup Series. One of the most caution-filled seasons and probably one of the most dominant showings by a team ever. Jack Roush and his 5 Fords went on a tear, eventually leading to rule changes for future seasons. All 5 of them were easily in contention for that year's chase, making the second race for the chase the hardest so far. For the second year, Richmond is the determining ground for the field of 10 drivers, and different from last year, it will be definitively 10 drivers, as the possibility of more than 10 drivers going in within 400 points of the leader is mathematically impossible. That is due to the summer dominance of this man, Tony Stewart. While he was not great at the start of the year, winning 5 of 7 races in the summer opened up the championship lead and gave him an easy walk to the number 1 seed. All he has to do is to keep his streak of top 10s alive with his 12th consecutive one tonight. Second is Greg Biffle, the first of the Roushketeers. While Greg has no ability to gain spots tonight, he could lose 2 spots if he has misfortune. He's only 49 points ahead of the 3rd place driver, Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy's summer is almost identical to last year's, with a down streak of 5 races dropping him from the points lead to 3rd. He is set pretty comfortable there, and the worst he can fall back to is 4th, with the only person that could pass him being Rusty Wallace. Rusty is in his last season, and having his final shot at a title. While winless so far, Rusty believes that he can come through and win the title even if he goes winless in the season. Rusty has almost no risk of losing a spot tonight in the chase, with the only person having even a close shot at him being Mark Martin, over 100 points behind him. Martin, like Rusty, was also going to be in his last season, but was asked to come back by team owner Jack Roush. Mark will be back in 2006, and while he has clinched a chase berth, he will need to run well to keep his 5th seed. In 6th is the 3rd Roushketeer, and reigning champion Kurt Busch. Busch has an even easier avenue to make the chase than last year. Before, he had to finish 42nd or better to be in. Now it's just start the race, and no matter what, he is in. 7th is where the bubble officially starts for drivers. German Mayfield is the first man not officially locked in, but would need a borderline disaster to miss the chase. All he has to do is finish 39th or better, and no matter what, he's in. 8th is Carl Edwards, the 4th Roushketeer, and the least experienced one. Carl is in his proverbial first season, and needs to finish 19th or better to guarantee his spot in the chase. 9th place is the closest of the 5 Roush drivers to fall out of the chase, Matt Kenseth. He is only 11 points to the good, but compared to what he was about a month ago, that is a heroic comeback. He's made up over 160 points on the cut line, and just needs to outrun the guys behind him in standings to make the chase. 10th is the last man in, by only a singular point, Jamie McMurray. McMurray is 1 point in, and is going to need to beat the 11th place driver to make his first chase officially. And that 11th place driver is Ryan Newman, who for the 2nd consecutive year is treading choppy waters. He needs to do everything he can yet again to make the 2nd chase and fight for a title. The second man out behind him is 4-time champion and Daytona 500 winner this year, Jeff Gordon. Jeff has had a terribly inconsistent year, with 3 wins, but 12th in standings. He needs to make up 30 points on Newman to make the chase. 13th is another chaser from last year looking to try and make it in for a 2nd year in a row, Elliott Sadler. Elliott is nearly 50 out and is going to need luck to make it back into the cut. 14th is his teammate Dale Jarrett, who's over 110 points out and is needing a disaster for at least 3 drivers to have a shot to even make it in. And the ultimate long shot is 15th place Kevin Harvick. Harvick would need to dominate and win, then have McMurray and Newman finish at least 34th or worse to even have a shot at making the chase. And that doesn't even include what Gordon, Sadler, or the Yates drivers would do. But I guess anybody can pull what is now being called a Mayfield. Due to Jeremy's last-minute miracle at Richmond last year, optimism to race in has been at an all-time high. And with the field grouped up, we are ready to go racing in Richmond.
400 laps, 300 miles, one last chance, no excuses. It's time to rock and roll NASCAR style at Richmond, live on TNT.
Harvick from the pole races Biffle hard and runs him wide through the corners. This allows Travis Kvapil to lead the first lap of the race, but it lasts only a lap. They split Kvapil, and Biffle's able to get the lead out of it. But now Harvick wants Biffle's lead back, and they race hard through the opening laps. Harvick gets him, and now Kurt Busch is fighting with him. Harvick runs the high groove, running a defensive line to keep his lead, and further back, Jeremy Mayfield is running a black car, uncharacteristic of his normal red car. He was allowed to run that as a reward for his win at Michigan, stating he always wanted to run a black car. As he runs top 10, caution comes out for Jeff Green blowing a tire. The teams come in and make varying adjustments in strategy, with Mayfield and Newman winning the race off pit lane, only taking 2 tires. The race restarts on lap 38, and Harvick instantly goes on the attack for the lead. Newman fades on his 2 tires and stacks up the field, while Mayfield still tries to hold off Harvick. Suddenly in the back of the pack, Mark Martin slows and has to come down the pit lane. He goes 2 laps down as they investigate the tires to find out what had happened to him. They find the chunk that had come out of him, and caused a vibration to make Mark Martin pit. As the run pushes on, Harvick works past Mayfield, and Kurt Busch moves to second now. The two begin to migrate back together before another caution for Sterling Marlin in the wall brings them all back down the pit lane again. And the race restarts again, with Biffle on the attack for the lead against Harvick. He tries, but eventually Harvick prevails, and by lap 100, the cut line is even tighter than before. Newman is in by 11 over McMurray now, but Gordon is only 26 back, and Harvick is 67. This is attributed to McMurray's mediocre 16th place run so far. And McMurray is happy with the car's handling, but is just overall slow, and the crew doesn't know what to do. Gordon is beginning to fade, and before he can go back further through the field, a caution for a spun Elliott Sadler brings everyone back down the pit lane again. Everybody pits with Gordon's crew making massive adjustments on the car, and Harvick and Busch lead the field on the restart. They pull away from third place, and the struggles get worse for the cut line contenders as Gordon's car is still awful, and McMurray has even less speed. Another caution though for the 39ers Jeremy brings the field back down the pit lane. Harvick again wins the race off, and Gordon's team makes even more adjustments on the car. This time Harvick doesn't lead on the restart, as Terry Labonte, Casey Mears, and Bobby Labonte stay out and lead. Mark Martin meanwhile is trying desperately to get his 2 laps back. Harvick and Busch don't take long to file through the cars in front, and take Terry 3 wide for the position. They catch Jeff Green, who wants to desperately keep his lap, and races hard with them, not giving an inch. Kurt uses the 43 as a pick, but struggles to get by on the bottom. They eventually go 3 wide, and both get by him. They soon catch Riggs as the next lap car. With Kurt going low off of 2, Riggs cuts down and makes contact with him, and bends in the right front of Kurt's car. He is furious, calling him a weapon on the radio, and says that the handling has now gone away. Kurt falls back, and now one of the closest battles on track is for 22nd, between Gordon and McMurray. These two have struggled horribly, and are needing a serious turn in fate to make it into the chase. Carl Edwards, meanwhile, is running 19th, exactly where he needs to be. As the run progresses further, Busch has his car come back to him, and he chases down Harvick for the lead, passing him on lap 194. Right after he clears Harvick, a caution is called for the third 2 blowing a tire. Everybody again pits under the yellow, and many of the guys trying to make the race make even more attempts to make the cars better. Harvick gets the lead back and restarts on lap 200. Kyle Busch pulls the ultimate move and flies past on the outside. Harvick is now in between the Busch brothers, trying to find a way back by Kyle without getting passed by Kurt. Meanwhile, McMurray and Newman are the closest they've been all night in thick traffic. Gordon is even further back though, in 28th, struggling even more with the handling of his car. Back at the front though, Kurt powers past both Harvick and Kyle, getting the lead and making it a Busch 1-2. Going back to Gordon, he is super tight and finally has his period placed on this race.
McMurray.
Oh, contact back there. Was that Gordon?
Yeah, we're done now.
Said we're done now.
What a thought.
Didn't say we're done now.
Ram me in the wall.
He's in the wall. Right side. See all the damage on the right side, the white on the tires.
Well,
Gordon will keep going after the wall contact, but that has pretty much sealed his fate for trying to make the chase. A caution is called for it. As they come down the pit lane, Jimmy Johnson, who has been running poorly all night, spins, catching up to the pace car. He lost a rear tire under caution, flying back around, and spun out. Gordon is on pit lane now with Steve Letarte under the front end, realigning the bent toe in the suspension. In the garage, Hendrick takes another hit with Brian Vickers needing transmission repairs. And Newman, through all this, now has a 34-point cushion over Jamie McMurray. And Kenseth now is not only looking at making the chase, but taking the 8th seed from Carl Edwards. The race restarts and the Busch brothers show strength as Harvick starts to fall back. Over the run, Kurt starts working through traffic and gets a yellow shortly after trapping Edwards a lap down. Carl won't get the lucky dog, and he's now only 52 points ahead of McMurray. The caution was for debris, and everybody pits. Kurt is the happiest he's been with his car, while Kevin says he is the exact opposite. Kurt leads the field back to the green flag with 119 to go, and Edwards, one lap down on the bottom groove, spins his tires. Kenseth now finds himself in third place with reports of a soft brake pedal, and with 114 to go, Tony has a moment but gathers it up, and Newman holds a slim 13-point margin over McMurray. Eventually Harvick slows on the backstretch, and people look to see what happened. The handling of his car has gone away so bad he slipped out of the groove and got in the marbles, which slowed him tremendously. He now runs 14th, with just under 100 laps to go. Biffle gets past Kenseth for third, and Newman sits 7th. A caution eventually comes out for Robbie Gordon, and Carl Edwards gets a lucky dog. Possibly the final stops of the day come with 90 to go, and everybody takes 4 tires. Kane is the only one not to do so, and leads the field to the green on the restart. Kenseth is racing hard from second, and gets him after about a lap. Kurt soon follows Kenseth through for second, and quickly makes work of his teammate. A caution comes out again though for Robbie Gordon once more being spun around, and this time he gets some help from Sterling Marlin. The race quickly restarts now with 71 to go, and Marlin has been parked for 5 laps because of aggressive driving. Roush's dominance persists at the front, and another caution comes out for Scott Wimmer spinning off of Bobby Labonte's bumper. Strategy gets mixed now as McMurray pits taking 2 tires, and Carl comes in and takes 4. The race restarts again with McMurray 21 points behind Newman, and Robbie Gordon now has also gotten a 5-lap penalty for rough driving on the track. With under 50 to go, McMurray needs to make up ground quick, and a Roush 1-2-3 dominates the front of the field, and it keeps them out of a turn 4 pileup. Dale Jarrett is in it, and officially eliminated from the chase. Other cars are damaged as well, but they all get to continue on the restart with 41 to go. Still Roush dominates, and going into turn 3, Kyle Petty almost replicates Dale Jarrett's move from before. McMurray now has worked the deficit to 18 points to Newman, but is struggling with lap traffic. All of a sudden the crash happens in turn 2, and then...
Ends at second.
Another crash.
Ricky Rudd in the wall. And now Jamie McMurray!
Oh, no!
Jamie McMurray!
Put us into the fence.
And that's it? That's it.
37.
He was 18 points out of the final spot in the chase.
Oh.
From the only angle we get, it appears the lap car, Tony Raines, upset about the incident and won. Wrecked McMurray back, and in return, took him out of the battle for the title. 2 years in a row now, McMurray has been oh so close to making it, and misses the cut at Richmond. He gets out, and unlike last year, he is surprisingly in a good mood. With his elimination, the field is pretty much set now. Only Sadler's left the challenge, but even he would need to beat Newman by 11 spots, and the 12 car currently runs top 10. The race restarts with 31 to go, and with no late race drama or fuel mileage, Kurt Busch drives to victory. For yet another season, Newman squeaks into the chase, and Kurt gets redemption for his close victory the year prior. And now, for the second time, 10 drivers have all been equalized and ready to compete in the second chase.